Hi everybody, I'm Emma O'Brien, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you some time management hacks for busy photographers and creative people. So if you are somebody who constantly says, I don't have enough hours in the day, I don't have time to do that, I'd be more successful if only I had time, and overwhelm is something you feel very often, and you're kind of spinning your wheels and you're a little bit stuck. Watch through this video because what I'm going to share is really going to help you to shift how you use your time and to be a little bit more productive. But first of all, I just want to make you aware of just what sort of expert level ninja I am when it comes to not being able to manage time. I really did learn the hard way how to implement some of the things I'm going to share with you. At the beginning of 2016, I pretty much had a nervous breakdown. I had severe burnout, followed by a back injury because I didn't quite let the nervous breakdown stop me, but the back injury did. And this was a really big wake-up call for me of how I'd been using my time, how I had been wearing busy as a badge of success, how I had thought that the way to a successful business was to be juggling as many shoots and as many client obligations as possible. In my busy heyday, I could be shooting anywhere between 10 and 15 shoots a week. And guess what? I was still broke. So really the business wasn't functioning very well at all. And it was at this point where I was just about ready to jump ship on the photography business that I started working with a business coach, which totally turned things around. And it's the reason I also coach photographers, because I am so incredibly passionate about this. I'm also very passionate about not wanting to see anybody else be in the absolute state I was in, because I had kind of just let everything get out of control. A little book, just as an aside before I jump into the content here. We are kind of sold by society and social media this great big myth that, you know, you've got to hustle all the time, and, you know, if you're super busy, it must mean you're really successful, and it's kind of something that people strive for, and this bragging about how early do you get up in the morning to get to work, and, you know, oh, I can only survive on 4 hours sleep a night, I'm that hardcore. I mean, these are not things to be proud of. So you're watching this because you're a creative person, and creativity needs to be nurtured. And in order to nurture your creativity, you have to rest and you have to plan your time properly. Creativity doesn't do well when it's under stress all the time. So I don't know if anyone's read Thrive, Ariana Huffington's book, and actually it starts off with her recounting a tale of how she woke up in a pool of her own blood on the office floor, where she'd passed out, smashed her face on the desk and broken her cheekbone because she had been living and existing on 3 hours of sleep a night, like some sort of martyr. It's a really great book just for reframing this crazy busy thing. I'm highly against this crazy busy bullshit, because that's what it is. So if you want to be the best creative version of yourself and you want to run a successful business, you have to nurture your creativity, and that means paying close attention to how you use your time and using it wisely. Okay, so lecture over. Let's get into some interesting stuff here. So here are a few of my tips for getting control of your time and enabling yourself to be more productive, as in doing something that's profitable for your business, or helps you creatively, making new work, whatever that looks like. Because I'll bet you, if you are a person who is short on time, what gets cut out is the creative stuff, and that's what we exist for, right? So let's have a look at how we can fit more of that in. So the first thing to do is to really start to pay attention to how you are spending your time. If you are wasting loads of time scrolling through Instagram and Facebook mindlessly, we all do it. Social media is addictive. That's what it's, you know, that's its aim, is to keep us on the platforms. So just keep an eye on what you're doing, you know, because it's very easy for half an hour to go by as you scroll through your phone, or you scroll through Pinterest, or you go down a rabbit hole here, and Facebook, and you go and have a look at what someone's doing here, and then you decide you're going to have a look at maybe what your ex is up to, because why not? If you start to pay attention and stop yourself before you kind of go on these crazy tangents, you'll find that you can probably grab half an hour here or there throughout the day, and of course over the course of the day you could well be wasting 2 hours faffing. So it's really good to just start to pay attention to where your time is going. Outsource tasks that don't add to your business and aren't profitable that somebody else could do for you. You don't have to have a full-time employee. You can have a virtual assistant. I have a VA who's on a retainer for a few hours a month for me, and I outsource things like creating client databases, stuff like prepping newsletters in MailChimp. I'll write the content, I send it through to her. I have no idea how to use the back end of MailChimp. I don't need to know that. I'm a photographer and I coach people. I need to be good at photographing and coaching. I don't need to be good at MailChimp. So it's just pointless me wasting time learning how to use it. Hand delivering stuff to clients, that used to be something I did, and my business coach very bluntly said to me, "I'm sorry, you're not a delivery driver." And at that point I got myself an account with a courier. Guess what? Freed up loads of time. And I also outsource a lot of my editing as well to somebody else. It's not something that lights me up. I don't want to spend hours of time doing it. I'd rather be out shooting or doing something else. Working on one task at a time rather than multitasking. I know we think we're being more productive if we multitask, but often our multitasking involves things like sitting down to write a blog post and then having a look because your Facebook tab's open. Let's have a quick look at what's happening on Facebook. And then, I'm just going to quickly Google X, Y, and Z. Or, I'm going to go make a cup of tea. So if you can work on one task at a time and start and then finish one thing, if it's a short enough task, without interruption, you'll get more done. This is you've got to train yourself to do this, especially if you're sort of used to flitting here and there, because as creative people we tend to not be very linear thinkers, but if we want to be more productive, we kind of need to get a bit of a handle on that kind of look at that sort of syndrome that we have going on. Another way to stop yourself from being distracted by things is literally to switch off your notifications, close all your extra tabs, she says, looking at something with 10 tabs open. Put your phone on silent, put it on flight mode so nothing's pinging, so you're not kind of in the middle of something and then hearing an email come in and jump in to have a look at that. One thing at a time, folks. It's a real skill, and when you learn it, it's life-changing. If you aren't a kind of starter-finisher type person, another thing you can do is to set a timer for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and don't stop what you're doing until that timer goes off. And then when the timer goes off, you can get up and go and have a coffee, have a break for 5 minutes, whatever works for you. So this is particularly good if your self-discipline muscle does need a bit of work, because you've effectively been told by your timer what to do. So that's also very, very useful. Go to bed earlier and get up slightly earlier. Even an extra 20 minutes in the morning of extra time can make a big difference. Now, I'm just going to put this, having waved this book at you, I do not get up at 5 o'clock. It's far too early. I'm not interested in being up that early. So you don't feel that you have to be in the 5 a.m. club to be successful, otherwise you're just not going to cut it. Rubbish. It's about being more productive with the time you've got. However, you will often find that you may well be more productive first thing in the morning, and if you are, then just get up a little bit earlier to maximize that productivity time and make up for it by going to bed a little bit earlier. This is not about trying to push out the amount of sleep you get. Just tweak your schedule a little bit. And if you are somebody who's more productive in the evening, fantastic. I know a few creatives are. I generally need to be finished by 5 o'clock. I don't want to be working after 5 o'clock. I want a bit of family time, and also by that time the brain is not functioning at full capacity at all anymore. And the last thing to share on the time is to plan ahead. Plan your week and have a look at the tasks you've got to do, and you can start to schedule in which days you're going to do those on, and then have a daily to-do list as well that breaks those bigger tasks into smaller ones. And don't try and cram too much into one day. I think that's another mistake that we make, is that we think, I'm going to get loads and loads and loads done, and then something comes up that you hadn't quite, factored for. For me, it's usually one of the dogs decides they need to go to the vet, And if you've got everything too tightly packed and too much in, you don't get it all done, and you're on the back foot, and it carries over to the next day. So better to have fewer tasks and get them all done and actually feel like you've achieved something than to try and do too much and never feel like you've achieved anything, because it's just it doesn't really help your confidence very much with your ability to work and run your business. So just know that learning to manage your time when it's not something you're used to doing is a work in progress. So just be kind to yourself and just implement, even if you implement one of these tips, just to change the way you work, it'll make a difference for you. None of us is doing life perfectly, so small tweaks just help it along a little bit. And by implementing some new strategies, we can do life a little bit better, and we can do it with a little bit more joy. And I think really that's the important thing, is that we should be enjoying what we're doing, right? So if you listen to that and you need a little bit more help, that's what I'm here for. I absolutely love helping other creatives with their business strategy, with their creative strategies, and would love to talk to you about how I can help you with that. So there's a link in the video description to book in for a free strategy call with me. Click it, hit me up. All right, and let me know how you get on with implementing these time management hacks and how they help you with your creative business. See you soon.